Hello, everyone. I'm Nicole Herrick, DIY. Today, we're going to talk about how to add SEO into your Wix website. Now, if you've never heard of me, I do DIY content. So it's all about doing anything that you possibly can in your life to save you money. So I might make furniture, I might renovate a room, but also I might make my own website. That's what my content is about. So if that's something that you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe and like if this video is helpful for you. All right, let's get into it. So I want to give a really brief overview of what is SEO, just for anyone that's really not quite clear yet on what the heck this is. So SEO is search engine optimization, and basically it's all about how your website talks to search engines and how those search engines then rank you in their system so that the people that are looking for your particular website, it's where it's going to come up on their search rankings. Now, there's a few ways in which we need to put SEO data into our websites in order to try and increase our ranking and get those potential customers to actually be finding our website on Google or Bing or any of the other search engines. So the first way that I want to talk about is keywords. Now, when I say keywords, I also mean key phrases. And all I want you to do is put yourself in your potential customer's shoes. What are they going to type into Google to be able to find something like your website? Whether it's a service-based website, whether you're an online store, it doesn't matter. What are they actually going to type in? I want you to sit there. I want you to write a list of every single word and key phrase. More think of it as key phrases that people might type in. Now, let's go and do an example. So I'm going to open an incognito or a private window. Now, this helps me to sort of have a bit less, Google doesn't have as much input into what I've been typing in previously. So that's why I'm using an incognito window. I'm going to do an example of trying to find a person who fits out camper vans in Brisbane, Australia. Let's type in camper van conversions Brisbane. Oops, totally not how you spell Brisbane. Brisbane. So you'll notice that the very first thing that comes up when it's a local-based business is usually the Google map. And it also has these text listings underneath. Now, a website that I recently built just for a friend of mine is called Tiny Home Campers. And he is coming up currently. Not for everyone. You cannot sort of gather what your exact rank is for everyone that's doing a search. It's going to be different for everyone based on where they are and other factors as well. So his listing is coming up before you even need to scroll, and that's called information above the fold. So if you think about this line along here as being the fold of like a newspaper, his website comes up above the fold, which is absolutely amazing. You're probably going to click on all three of these and check them out. Let's scroll down a bit and we'll see the actual listings that come up. Now, you can see here it is coming up as number one. So that's awesome, but it also might be sort of Google still having a little bit of access to information that I've previously entered into my browser and stuff, even though I'm in incognito. Because I built this site, it might be why it's coming up first. But when we talk about telling Google what our website is about, we're talking about the key phrases that you put into these page names as well as these page descriptions. There'll be an overall page name and page description for your main homepage, and then for each and every single one of the pages within your website. It's also a great starting point to look for what your competition is utilizing as keywords and key phrases. There's also another piece of information here that Google tells us this is some of the information that people also ask. So these are great things to write down, just pop it into a Word document so that you know what Google tells you people are also looking for information on. Okay, now let's talk about where we input this information into a Wix website. Now, I'm going to try and give you an example of two different types of websites that people might have. So, this one is a localized website that provides services, and I have another one where it is either a national or international store that sells very common products. So these two are quite different. It's a lot easier to rank when you have a local service or product based business. When you get into the sort of national and international selling products that are commonly available and they're not a specific niche, that's when it does get a little bit harder to actually get people to find your website over someone else's. And you also need to look at putting more money into advertising. All right. So if I go to just this basic, this is just a fresh template out of Wix, and I'm going to go to up to here, up to page, and I'm going to click manage pages. Okay, now I'm going to go to the three little dots over here next to the homepage, and I'm going to go to SEO basics. All right, so you'll notice here that it talks about getting found on Google, and you can use the SEO whiz or wizard. Now, I definitely do recommend using this, but not until you've put in all of your own information that you can gather for the specific SEO of your niche or your target customers. Do your own first, then go through the wizard right at the very end and just check that it's sort of matching up with those keywords and key phrases that you have chosen. And yes, basically skip that for now. All right, so here is a preview of what the general whole website or the homepage is showing up as for Google. Now, to change this, what we need to do is change our page's title tag, and it says title in search results. So you can actually call your homepage something specific and you can rename it here, but that will only show on Google. It won't show up as showing some like keyword heavy name on your actual website. So that's important to know. So in here, we want to put the very best key phrase that you have come up with for your particular business. So if it is a construction company, let's hang on, let's see what they do. Building a concrete future. So maybe concrete services. I know nothing about construction really. So we're just gonna make it up. All right. Home. Oh, manage pages, three little dots, SEO basics. All right, so I might leave the home bit just there, and I'm going to type in concrete and construction services, Melbourne. Okay, and I would probably also capitalize these words as well. All right, so let's say that is definitely the number one thing that we think people are going to be typing into Google to find a particular business like ours. Then we're going to go in and we're going to put in a page description. Now, your page description can't just be copy and paste of all your main key phrases. It needs to be a paragraph, and it also needs to make sense. And Google will actually be able to know whether it makes sense or not, and they will take marks off if you just paste in a bunch of keywords and it doesn't make a sentence. So just keep that in mind. So you might put something like R&R Construction is a Melbourne-based or provides Melbourne-based concreting services, including blah, 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 as well as construction services, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, I don't have the keywords for this kind of business, and it's going to be different for all of you. So just try and think, how can I fit as many key phrases into one paragraph as possible? Now, you also want to make sure that you have this let search engines index this page ticked on. It is on by default, so that's good. If you have any pages that you're still kind of working on and you don't want people to see yet, you can untick this and it won't show them on Google. All right, so let's go now to advanced SEO. So you can also add structured data markup here and meta tags. So I'm not going to go right into that right now because it's a little bit more comprehensive. We're just starting with the basics. Another thing you should look at monitoring in here is the URL slug. So just basically what that means is the part after the / of your main domain. Now, if you wanted to add some simple keywords in there, you could, I wouldn't recommend changing it on home, keep that one simple. But if we do want to change it on something like services, if we go to services and then click SEO basics. So it's just got here services, but what I could add into this is concreting and construction Melbourne. You need to not have spaces, so just put dashes in between, okay? Dashes in between instead of spaces. For all of your pages and subpages of your website, you need to go in and write very specific page titles and page descriptions. Now, these need to be not the same as your homepage. They need to be specific as to what information people are actually finding on this particular page of your website. Okay, now let's talk about how Google and other search engines read your images. If an image is just kind of plonked on a page, you can just click on it and then go to settings. If it's within a column or a strip, what you need to do is click on the whole strip. Then I want you to click off onto one that's different and then click onto the image again. And we can see that just this image is selected. Now we're going to choose change column background and you'll see that the actual image comes up behind here. Now, if you can't see that image behind here, close that, click off onto something else and then click onto the image again, because if you don't have this image coming up in the background, then you're not actually changing the settings for this specific image. Right, let's go to settings and I want you to scroll down and this is exactly where you change your alt text. So what we would pop in here is something that is keyword rich or a great key phrase that is specifically related to this particular picture and what's on this page, okay? So we might call this commercial building design Melbourne, something like that. Okay, so that is how you change the alt text. Now, you should be doing this for every single one of your images on your website. It's very important because Google can't necessarily see what an image is, so you need to have some text to be able to tell it. Now, another factor to do with images and SEO is that your images need to be optimized to be able to load quickly on your website. Now, luckily with Wix, it actually does this for you. So you can upload any image in a high-res format and it will automatically make it the exact right size it needs to be to display on your website nice and fast without taking up too much size. So you don't have to worry too much about that. If you do want to optimize them before you upload them, that's totally fine. Just don't make them too small. The actual size that you want to aim for if you are choosing to resize them before you upload is 2560 by 1440 in pixels. I would suggest a DPI of 300 and then compress it to an image quality of 5 if you're saving it as a JPEG. If that's gone over your head, just let it fly. Don't stress about that too much and let Wix resize your images. Okay, now let's talk about another factor involved in SEO, which is basically how easy it is to use your website. So I'm going to go back to the homepage for where every person who comes to your website actually starts. So on this section above the fold, and remember by what I mean by above the fold is anything they can sort of see without having to scroll anywhere. So this particular homepage has a logo telling me which business this is. It has some text which tells me exactly what this business does. Now, this is one of the key factors that I tell a lot of my clients is that their website needs to show exactly what you do, what your niche is above the fold. So this says building a concrete future honest, reliable builder since 1968. So that tells me that this is a building company. Now, we've also got our menu up here. That's pretty standard for any website. But also, what I want you to note here is some buttons. So these are called call to action or calls to action. So basically, they're saying, all right, you've come to our homepage. Let's go somewhere else right now and we'll show you what we can do. So I might click on view projects. And if I actually go to view projects, I can't click on it through here because we are in the editor, but I'm going to go to projects. And it will take you to our projects and you can start looking through to see if they're the right business for you. Now, this also helps tell Google that users coming to your site are interested in progressing further and finding out more about your business. And that is linking to bounce rate. If somebody comes directly to your homepage, they look at it and they go, yeah, I don't know what these people do. Like, this is a bit confusing. I don't want to go any further. I'm going to go back to the search results and find another one. That's what we mean by a bounce rate. So if somebody looks at your homepage, doesn't go any further, then that customer is bouncing away. You don't want them to bounce away. That's why these calls to action are really important. Now, a call to action might be a button, but it also might be scrolling down some more information here. So this is where it's talking about commercial and it's got an image. Now, if you had a button here that went specifically to the information page about commercial projects, that would be another great call to action to lead them further into your website and then potentially further into contacting you. So this is something that I see as a flaw in this particular website. Now let's look at how that affects something like an e-commerce website. Okay, so here I have just one of the starter templates for a Wix website called Happy Kids. This is the homepage that they've started off with. So again, up here, one of the things that I'm not seeing is what does this business sell? So I've got the business name. It says shop collection. So I don't know whether they sell clothing, kids, toys, whatever. I can see an image here which does look like it could be clothing, but it's not clear. So I would definitely add either a tagline below your logo or a nice big piece of text and a subline here to actually show people exactly what this business does. Or your image might just show that, and that's totally fine as long as your alt text on that image also tells Google exactly what your site does. So on the homepage, you also want to have more calls to action. So on here, you might have a shop all button underneath your sort of like a big text piece and a subline here. You might have a shop all now. And that might lead to a category page where you can choose from baby boys wear, older boys wear, girls wear. It might sort of say pants, tops, dresses, onesies, that kind of thing. Now, if I sort of scroll down, this is the entire homepage on this. So again, this is not effective. It's got new arrivals, but it doesn't give me, or it does have a shop all button, so that's good, but you really should have your main categories and also some of your subcategories on your homepage as places to click through or calls to action. So on any store page, I would tend to put all of my main, so like boys wear, girls wear, baby boys wear, baby girls wear. I might put shop by style. I might put shop bottoms, shop tops. I might put shopped giftware, that kind of thing. Think about those key phrases that people are going to be popping in to Google. So somebody might be specifically searching for buy unisex baby t-shirts online. So by having a unisex baby t-shirts category, you're adding that as a way for Google to tell people, hey, this business has a specific thing that you might be looking for. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So on your homepage, make sure there are lots of different calls to action, which will get them diving further into your page. Now, I'm just going to give you a little quick overview of how I might add those elements to an online store website. If you don't have an online store, if you're more of a local service-based business, use the chapters at the bottom timeline and you'll be able to skip ahead to the next part that's more relevant to you. Okay, so to add some information or sort of content to the homepage that's going to be sort of your different collections that are available, let's go to the add button. We're then going to go down to lists and grids. And this is a great place to sort of find really nicely designed elements that you can just pop the heading in, you can make it linkable, and you can pop an image in. So if you don't have specific images, you could use something like this. You can change the font, you can change the colors, it's all going to be fine. If you wanted to have like a nice modern set of images and text that people can click through, you can use something like this. So we're just going to drag this onto the page. All right, and I'm also going to drag this thing out of the road. All right. Now what we can do is change this one to, I would say, shop baby boy swear. Okay. And then you can see that I can change the font and everything here, the size. Now I'm going to click on the image and I'm going to go change background. And I'm going to go and choose an image that shows me, that is basically an overall image that talks about baby boys wear. I don't have any images ready for you, but I would generally tend to use a lifestyle image on the homepage because it's a little bit more inviting. You could, however, just use a white background, a picture of a baby boy's t-shirt. So it really doesn't matter too much. I just prefer lifestyle images on a homepage. It just looks a bit more modern. Then you can also choose settings. Make sure you put that alt text in there. You can change where it's positioned. You can change it to fit within this box. You can change it to tile as well, all different things. So over here we have a button and you can link that button to a specific page. So you would need to go and set up a specific page for shopping baby boys wear and then assign that to a collection or category is what they should call collections in Wix, where all of your baby boys wear is on one page. Okay. So that's one way to add different elements. You can also go in and just add images on their own. You can add a piece of text and put that on top of your image and make it that way. You can add things like full width slideshows that are interactive and box slideshows. They give you some really awesome templates. So there is lots of different ways to add different things. You can add a gallery. You can also go to store and you can specifically add a product grid gallery. So if you wanted to add best sellers, you could certainly add that onto your homepage. If you wanted to add a gallery or a slider gallery for baby boys wear, you could certainly add that and it would just sort of show a certain amount of that. I don't necessarily recommend putting one of your categories on there like baby boys wear because they might sort of just click on these and then decide they don't like your baby's boys wear and then they'll click off without actually clicking further into your website, which affects your bounce rate and therefore your SEO. All right. So adding these elements to any page helps with that user functionality and ease of navigation, which gives you SEO points. So you will rank higher in Google or any of the search engines. Another factor that affects your search engine ranking is mobile friendliness. Wix automatically sets you up with a mobile version of your website. So here we can see our website version that we're currently in, and we can switch to the mobile version that it automatically creates for you. Now, I recommend when you're first starting making your website, just do it all the desktop version first. And then once you're finished with your full desktop design, or even if you're almost finished, going to do a bit more tweaking, then go into your mobile version and make adjustments. So you want to make sure it basically kind of is like a little bit of AI. So it kind of says, all right, well, this is what we think that should go on your website, but you need to go in and adjust it so that it's really easy to use, looks nice, and makes sense for those people that are going to be browsing using the mobile website. So you can see here that this looks quite nice. The fact that these have a specific like view project or shop here is quite good for a mobile version of a site, because when you've got like a hover situation on a desktop site by hovering your mouse over, and then it will sort of show that you can click through it, you don't have that on a mobile version. So I always do quite like to have specific either text or something that looks like a button, and this actually shows me via the arrow that this is something that's going to take me somewhere. So I actually do like using things that look like buttons to be shown on your mobile version so that people can click through. So you can see it's sort of, this one is looking quite fine. The footer section here is looking really kind of like lots of information. So I would probably clean this up a little bit. And you can move things around. So you can move this down. You can swap the order of things. You can get rid of gaps. You can move this over here. So it's very flexible. You can change what your mobile menu looks like and how it shows up, the different colors, the fonts, all that kind of thing. So we're very lucky with Wix that it is quite an intuitive online software that will set it all up for us basically first, and then we can just go in, clean it up a little bit, and then put your website out live and hopefully get some customers. Okay, now let's talk about another factor that is involved in SEO, and that is security. So Wix automatically has any of your websites that you've created with Wix, it makes them secure. So this is not something that you need to turn on. This will be automatically turned on when you upgrade to have Wix actually host your site and you connect to domain. So don't worry about that. It's all under control. Now, another little known thing that Google tells me is a little factor in SEO is info about the creator of your business. So you'll notice that a lot of websites have an About Us page. Now, I had no idea actually for ages that having an About Us page actually helps with your search engine optimization. And I haven't seen this shared in many SEO sort of videos and websites talking about it. But I would say, look, if Google tells me that it's important to have some info about the creator for your business or the team behind your business, then that means that we should definitely put it in. You don't need to be giving your specific name or anything, but they want to know that there's real people behind the business. So do add an About Us. You can call it something else, but do add it. Now, to add that, they've actually got some awesome templates that are already ready to go. So if you go to the Manage pages and then go Add Page, it will give you some templates. So you can see here, you can choose from different ones, but we're on the About one to start with. So it gives you some really cute, very, very simple designs that you can just chuck in, add your team members or just some text, whatever you like. So simple as that. Whilst we're here, let me just show you these other templates that they give you. They're just really nice and simple. And again, once you put these in, you can just sort of move all the stuff on these pages around. With Wix, you're not locked in to a template the way that you are when you choose a template with something like Word or Shopify, etc. You can literally click and drag stuff around. That's what I love about Wix, that you're not limited to anything. It's kind of like a Microsoft Publisher or something. You just click, drag it around, change it to suit your needs. Super, super easy. They also have some templates for projects, templates for contact pages, which is really good. Actually, whilst we're here, let's talk about users being able to contact you if you're a service-based business. Now, this is definitely something that is also a factor in SEO. Now, as a service-based business provider myself, I have a product photography business, in case you didn't know, but I find that on every single page, I like to sort of have, whether I'm showing them a collection of photos specific to a certain niche, whether I'm talking about my prices, whether I'm talking about me or anything, I like to add a contact me button on every single page. Now, this then leads them to the contact page where they can then reach me. And I don't actually have my email visible, but I do have like a contact form. And that's just so that I don't get spam. And also, I think I actually put it a little bit different than contact me, but on each of my pages, I put a button that says, I think it's like, let's chat. Or you can put something like more information, that kind of thing. Hit me up, get some further info. So it doesn't need to be something that's generic as contact me. It could be something a little bit more friendly if you're a small service-based business. Obviously, if you're a big construction company that is very professional, you probably don't want to put, hey, hit me up. But you can be creative. Now, the reason I suggest to put a contact me button on every single page of a smaller or even a larger service based business is because with a service based business, the end goal that you want people to be doing on your website is to go into the homepage, find out or click further in to get more information, and then actually contact you to try and see if you're right to work together. And so if somebody is clicking to actually click on the button to contact you, then Google knows that, hey, a lot of people are actually going through to contact this business. Must have a good website. People must find them to be knowledgeable and to be trustworthy. And those are actually things that Google also says has an impact on your search engine optimization. So it's called reputation and or authority. Another factor is also domain age. The longer your website is up, it does add a little bit of extra sort of ranking to where your website sits. Now, that's not to say that you can't have a number one ranking website within the first 6 months, but you might not get a number one position. In fact, you probably won't get a number one position the day that you upload your website or it goes live for the first time. So keep it in mind. Look, it's not a huge defining factor, but the longer your website has been active on search engines, the more credibility it has, basically. All right, let's also talk about adding further content. So you can look at adding a blog. Now, I would suggest this if you have something like a online store where there's a huge amount of competition. There's lots and lots of other websites out there that are doing the exact same as you. What I would do is add lots of extra information to my website that can kind of help drag people closer to me. And if you can really narrow down your specific niche as far as you can, that's going to be a little bit easier for you. So if it's just, you just kind of sell all kind of kids' clothes, great. Too many people are going to be competing with you. But if your specific, like the brands that you sell, or if you're your own brand, and you happen to sell ethically made clothes or something like that, you're going to have a much easier time narrowing down to find the right customers that are looking for ethically made clothes or clothes made from bamboo or gender neutral clothes, something like that. So if you can refine your niche, it'll be a lot easier, I swear. Now, adding a blog is fairly simple. You go over to this little pen tool and you can add a blog. Now, do you remember back when we looked at typing into Google to find our competition? And it gave us some different questions that people typing this in also ask. Those are great starting points for what to actually blog about. You can also outsource writing of blogs to somebody else. If you don't have time for it because you're busy running an online business, packing orders, whatever it is, then you can outsource it. So, having a blog for a very competitive industry is definitely something that you want to look into. You're adding images, you're adding text, and with all of that, you're inputting more and more keywords and key phrases. Now, a great thing to do with blogs is to use guest bloggers. So, this is where you're going to go and collaborate with somebody and get them to sort of write a guest post. And that way, they will also be showing a link from their website over to yours, which brings us to another factor of SEO, which is backlinks. Now, backlinks, you never want to go with one of those websites that says, hey, pay this amount and we'll give you lots of backlinks. Never, ever, ever, ever do that, okay? Because Google will know and they will deduct loads and loads of points and maybe even blacklist you so that you pretty much never show up in any of the top pages in Google. So you always want to be doing this with a good business ethos in mind, collaborating with other designers, collaborating with similar people within your field, and you might do a guest post for them and they might do a guest post for you, something like that. So it is definitely important. And this is also where things like marketing comes in. And if you are shown on another person's blog where they're talking about your products and they're linking to you, that's a backlink. Okay. Another thing that you might want to consider to help your search engine optimization is to make a few videos and put them on a free YouTube channel. Google owns YouTube, and Google actually likes video content. So, if you have a few different quick videos that you could create about your business, even if you're sort of just using images as a slideshow, a little bit of talking or a little bit of text or something, if it might be helpful for your audience, even if it isn't, really helpful for your audience, I do think that adding a few simple videos on a YouTube channel that you can set up for free is definitely helpful for your website. Okay, once you have done pretty much all of those things, then I want you to go and look at Google SEO Wizard. So to get there, you can go up to, if you're in the editor section, go up to settings and go get found on Google. That will bring you to this page. So if you want to click on SEO tools, it will kind of give you a bit more of an overview of the different things in here. I'm not going to go hugely into all of these because they are a little bit more in depth, and I would rather not make this video too long. But basically, this will help you to submit your website, to double check everything first, and then it will help you submit your website to Google. You probably also want to submit it to Bing. Things like DuckDuckGo is another search engine, and those are the main things. You also want to, once everything is done and your site is live, you've submitted it to Google, you also want to go and set up a Google business listing. And that's how we got, if I go to here, that's how we got my friend at Tiny Home Campers listing to come up on here. It doesn't need to be a locally based business. You can set it up as a website business, but it's really important to go and tell Google, hey, I've got a business. I want you to list it, because that way you're just getting even more reason for Google to rank you higher. Now, guys, that is pretty much everything for the basics of how to implement SEO into your Wix website. Now, I know that was a lot of information to digest, and there's also a lot that we didn't go into extreme detail in there. So, I wanted to keep this as simple as possible in my own words, that is hopefully not too technical for anyone to be able to understand. If you found this helpful, I would love it if you would drop a comment below and just let me know that you did. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Let me know that, or let other people know that this is a good video that has useful information for people to follow. Also add a like, and tell your friends as well. If you found this helpful and you're in like a Facebook group or something, if you're allowed to share links, pop my video into the Facebook group and say, hey, this was really informative. And that would really help me out. Also, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and you'll see that I have a playlist of Wix tutorials. So you can go to that playlist, check out other Wix videos that I have done. There are lots and lots and lots. Some of them are quite old, but I'm going to be updating these a little bit more often now. So there'll be more helpful information. Definitely worth subscribing. And also, if you haven't already set up a Wix account yet, you can use my affiliate link. Now, this doesn't cost any more than what it usually does. You'll find it in the description below. There will usually be a link for my affiliate link to sign up for Wix. You can usually get 50% off the first year plan. It'll come up every few weeks or so. So never pay full price for a Wix plan in your first year, okay? Hope that was helpful, guys. If you have any questions at all, hit me up in the comments below, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks all.